In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Welcome again to our program, Facing Atheism, to prove that there is God in whom we believe, but sometimes we need to have the help of science in order to face the false theories about the origin of a species. We are now following great discoveries by scientists all over the world, and they are astonished. Many of them are converted from atheism to believe in God as creator. The supercomputer, the electronic microscope, is helping them to discover the significance of God's creation. In this episode, we shall follow the DNA. DNA is, in fact, is that makes up our genes, and its meaning is deoxyribonucleic acid. So this is the complete name, and it is a molecule that encodes the genetic instruction used in the development and functioning of all non-living organisms and many viruses. That is the definition of DNA. We shall follow a wonderful movie to see how DNA is composed and how it is acting. Later we shall see other movies to see how it is formed. Something miraculous. Scientists know today that there is a language. Actually, DNA is like books of information that is read by a language system. It is absolutely phenomenal. And scientists know today that language as a code only comes from an intelligence. And information only comes from information. Information does not come from material itself, but it is well known that nobody has ever seen matter by itself give rise to a code. Nobody has ever seen matter by itself give rise to information. And as you look at DNA, it actually cries out, "In the beginning, God created the universe." An amazing fact that in a pinhead volume of DNA, about the information contained in DNA, in a pinhead volume of DNA would fill a stack of books 500 times higher than from the surface of the earth to the moon. 500 times the books filled with information from the surface of the earth to the moon. in a pinhead volume of DNA. The body of a human being is constituted of 100 trillion cells. Trillion is 1,000 billion or milliard, and milliard is 1,000 million. That is a trillion, and 100 trillion cells in our bodies. But the cells are not of the same kind. Thousands of different kinds of cells. But every human being has his own type of DNA. And that's why by analysis of DNA, we can differentiate one person from another among millions and millions of human beings or billions of people. Furthermore, DNA is a three-dimensional molecule that is self-replicating. Each molecule able to make an identical copy quickly and efficiently. God has even programmed DNA to detect and correct replication errors. The DNA molecule in such a way that it is self-correcting. There are special proteins called enzymes that go up and down the DNA molecule looking for and making repairs on a minute by minute, second by second basis. God created us with a DNA code that actually has what we call editase of editorial type enzymes. Just as an editor reads a newspaper or book looking for mistakes. So God has created special enzymes that go up and down our DNA molecule, repairing the mistakes in ways that are unbelievably complex. Why there is repairing for the mistakes? Because there is copying, continuous copying. And in the copying process, mistakes can be produced. But these mistakes are very dangerous. It should be corrected. And the special enzymes are doing that, as we shall see in the movie on the screen now. Let us watch and give some comments.
Compared to the rest of creation, snow crystals are simple, yet the great architect's attention, even to the countless snow crystals he forms each day, is an unmistakable mark of his care.
God has built into not only ice crystals, all kinds of other molecules, all kinds of systems, relationships, and processes that we don't even begin to fathom yet today. That's one of the reasons I'm a scientist. I love trying to find out how things function, how they operate, and apply mathematical equations to them, because I feel like I'm touching the face of God, if you wish.
If simple water molecules that form ice crystals exhibit magnificent structure, consider the design ingenuity behind large, complex molecules, such as DNA. DNA contains the blueprint for all life and is by far the densest information storage mechanism known in the universe. For example, the amount of information contained in a pinhead volume of DNA would fill a stack of books 500 times higher than from here to the moon. The program code and design of such an incredible system indicates a supremely intelligent designer.
The evidence to me that just cries out that there's a God is the study of DNA. DNA is a very powerful, massive information storage system. In fact, DNA that makes up our genes actually is like books of information that's read by a language system. It's absolutely phenomenal. And scientists know today that languages, a code, only come from an intelligence, and information only comes from information. Nobody's ever seen matter by itself give rise to a code. Nobody's ever seen matter by itself give rise to information. And as you look at DNA, it actually cries out, in the beginning, God created the universe.
We all begin as a single cell the size of a period at the end of a sentence. How does that cell know how to build a body with 100 trillion cells in it, thousands of different kinds, and each one of them is so complex, nanochemical machinery beyond our comprehension how it works. And encoded is the instruction manual. It's the manufacturer's manual how to build and operate every part of this incredible body made up of 100 trillion cells.
Furthermore, DNA is a three-dimensional molecule that is self-replicating. Each molecule is able to make an identical copy quickly and efficiently. The Lord has even programmed DNA to detect and correct replication errors. These sophisticated capabilities far exceed man's means.
God has created the DNA molecule in such a way that it is self-correcting. There are special proteins called enzymes that go up and down the DNA molecule looking for and making repairs on a minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis. God created us with a DNA code that actually has what we call editase or editorial type enzymes. Just as an editor reads a newspaper or a book looking for mistakes, so God has created special enzymes that go up and down our DNA molecule, repairing the mistakes in ways that are unbelievably complex.
There are many examples in creation of things that demonstrate the biblical God. One would be in our very DNA. Our DNA has information in it. And there is a whole field of scientific study called information science, which studies how information originates, how it's transmitted, and so on. And one of the laws of information science says that information never originates by itself in matter, never spontaneously comes about. Anytime we trace the copying of information back to its source, it always comes back to a mind. And since we have creative information in DNA, that tells me that DNA comes from intelligence. It's not something that could possibly come about through millions of years of mutations and natural selection. That just won't work.
Yet even the DNA molecule is simple compared to cells. All life consists of cells, and each cell functions as a miniature city. When we consider that a human body consists of trillions of cells working together as one unit, we should be in humble awe of our Creator's intimate care and perfect wisdom.
You may notice in this movie that the speakers are scientists. Dr. Vardiman and scientist Ken Ham and Dave Hunt and Franks Sherwin and Dr. Leslie. Although we have watched it for about 5 minutes only, but during this movie, many scientists were speaking. So how could they make a movie like that? That is also something due to the rapid progress of scientific apparatuses, electronic microscopes and supercomputer, and many developed facilities which can show us how the molecule of DNA is formed, how it is copied, and the different colors which differentiate the constituents of the DNA molecule. Always we shall need to speak about any existing thing that it needs 3 dimensions: the material, the energy to produce, and the know-how, the information. And the information is a great question, because nobody has ever seen matter by itself give rise to information. Information suggests a mind, and the mind, in this case, is a supreme mind of God who created the world in this marvelous form. And that's why we should refuse the Darwinist theory of chemical evolution and the natural choice. This we shall follow in many other presentations in our program. Glory be to God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, one God. Amen.